What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. We are back doing another preview video. This one is going to be for Wales versus New Zealand. It's going to be an amazing game. For anyone who hasn't seen these preview videos before, what we do is we chuck on a game of Rugby 20 in the background of the teams that are going to be playing, and then over the top we look at the teams that have been officially announced to play the game in real life. We're going to talk about who we think is going to do well, who we think might do badly, and finally give a score prediction at the end. So buckle your seatbelts, because this one it's going to be a lot of talking points. Let's get this game kicked off and underway. Alrighty, Dan Bigger's going to get us kicked off and underway. We'll start off to the left. Not that Dan Bigger's going to be playing on the weekend, because of course the English clubs haven't been releasing any of the players. This game going to be outside the international window, even though it's an international rugby match. So Wales are definitely going to find themselves on a difficult journey, shall we say, for this one. So this, of course, will be game 2. We have, of course, got the Scotland-Tonga game that is also going to be going on. This will be game 2 of the weekend. I get to actually go and see this game. That's going to be something I'm really looking forward to, getting down to the Principality and seeing live rugby again. It's going to be so much fun. So looking ahead towards this game, Wales coming into this game, having had a Six Nations that I don't think a lot of people probably would have predicted coming out winning the Six Nations, borderline almost coming away with a Grand Slam, as we see Hadley Park smashed into the ground there, not that Hadley Park's place for them anymore. Having a really good Six Nations, a lot of the Wales players going off with that Lions team and doing okay, I would say, out there. Josh Adams is getting an awful lot of tries out there with the Lions team. However, back at home based in the Summer Tour, I would say the Wales team not living up to their full potential, beating Canada by quite a landslide, but Canada seem to be getting beaten by most of the Tier 1 nations by quite a landslide, so it's not really a big thing to say there. They had a draw against Argentina and a loss against Argentina, so it's certainly got to be looking to improve on here. Of course, they'll be having a lot of their main players back, but of course a lot of big names still going to be missing out. Like I said earlier in the video, there are a lot of those players going to be leaving because of the relationships they have with the English clubs or some of the French clubs and stuff, so we won't be seeing the likes of Dan Bigger, Callum Sheedy, Zammit, all these people playing away won't be able to be in this team, and I'm sure New Zealand will go really easy on the Wales team, but I don't think so. So let's check out the team that has been announced. So what we'll, of course, we'll do is pop them on screen for you guys. We'll start out here with the front row. Wyn Jones, Ryan Elias and Tom Francis. Now Ryan Elias is a bit of a late minute call. Originally it was Ken Owens. It's changed since then. Ken Owens injured his back. I'm not sure if in training or something. I'm not really sure what's happened there. So Ryan Elias standing in. It's definitely a capped front row. I didn't know for this game whether or not Wales would look to actually try and I don't know, put on like a bit of a B team almost and just believe they probably weren't going to beat New Zealand. It would have been, you know, a very unsporting thing and not very good for some of the supporters like myself paying to go down there to watch that. But I did think this probably isn't going to be a game that Wales are going to target as a win, and I would expect most people believe New Zealand will come away with a win in this game. But they haven't gone down that route. They've actually put a relatively experienced front row on here. Wyn Jones having a really good Six Nations, going up with the Lions as well there. Tom Francis has been playing good rugby. The weak link for me here is Ryan Elias. I would have much preferred to have seen Ken Owens in that number 2 shirt. I think Ryan Elias is a hooker. Hasn't impressed me for the last 12-18 months. Been a lot of issues across the board for me there, so that could be a bit of a chink in an armour, and I'm sure with looking at how dominant the New Zealand scrum is at the minute, they'll be looking to target that one as well. Looking towards the lock department, certainly a lot of experience here. Adam Beard and Alan Wyn Jones together played very well in that Six Nations in working out their partnerships together, so much so they went on to play in the Lions team together, and the line out in the Lions was looking pretty good, especially against teams like South Africa that love to try and dominate in that line out. Wales' line out has been getting worse, I would say, progressively since the era of when Gatlin was in charge, but these two are certainly going to try and steady the ship a bit. This will be an area for them to try and target. The New Zealand line out certainly very, very good, but if they can manage to get a couple of steals there, that will certainly begin to rock New Zealand a little bit. Moving back towards the back row then, Moriarty at 6, Tame Basham coming in at 7, nice to see him there, and Aaron Wainwright at 8. Now personally, as I've said a couple of times on this channel before, I do much prefer to see Moriarty play 8 and Wainwright play 6. I think Wainwright's far sneakier at being able to run through the gaps rather than just running head on, and I think Ross Moriarty, as we all probably know by now, just runs face first into people. So hopefully they can work around this way. This is how the Dragons have them set up, so they've got a lot of experience in playing these positions. Tame Basham, looking forward to seeing him. There was a big thing about Wales is missing something like 5 of their first choice flankers through injury or for one reason or another, so definitely going to be an area under pressure in that back row, especially when we get around to looking at the New Zealand team. You'll see just how pressured that back row fight is going to be. Looking further back towards the halfback partnership, Thomas Williams and Gareth Anscombe. There's a name a lot of people probably wouldn't be expecting going into this autumn internationals. Gareth Anscombe, of course, going out with his ACL injury just so long ago. I think it was like 2019 he went out with that. I've seen him play a couple of games for Ospreys. He seems to be getting back into the role of things, but yeah, they're throwing him in at the deep end there, starting his international career back off against New Zealand, who are on fire at the minute, going to be dangerous. Thomas Williams starting ahead of Gareth Davis in the 9 shirt. There's something I called. I thought they would maybe go for some experience from the bench, because there's probably not going to be a great deal of experience from the bench, but I think Thomas Williams, for me personally, I rate him slightly higher at the minute than the Gareth Davis in terms of the scrum half ability, so it'll be interesting to see how those two get on working together, especially seeing as they won't have had a lot of time to practice together. They've had 2 weeks really to just build up towards this New Zealand game. We'll hope that halfback partnership works out for them. Moving further towards the backs, let's have a look at the centre partnership. Johnny Williams and Jonathan Davis. Now, this is got some potential here, of course. These lads have played together before. They'll know each other's ins and outs a lot. I will enjoy seeing Johnny Williams back. He just doesn't seem to spend a lot of time on the pitch. He's such one of these players that just picks up so many injuries. I did say when we first did the team announcement, when I was reacting to that it was a bit of a shame to not see Owen Watkin getting in this team. And in that video, I actually referred to Owen Watkin as maybe the new Scott Williams for not managing to get himself into the Wales team, even though I think he's playing really good rugby. And then lo and behold, about 2 days later, Scott Williams actually gets announced that he's going to be in this team because Halaholo has had to go out. And I'm quite surprised to not see Scott Williams getting in this team. I think he's playing really good rugby at the minute, and it would have been nice to have seen him, especially alongside Jonathan Davis. They've played together for so long at the Scarlets. I think that would have been nice, but hopefully Johnny Williams and Jonathan Davis can get on well together. Finally, look at this back three, because we are now into the second half. Josh Adams at 11, Owen Lane on the right wing, and Johnny McNichol in that 15 shirt. So probably a little bit less experience than you'd want here, excluding Josh Adams. Josh Adams knows that left wing like the back of his hand by now. Owen Lane on that right wing. We didn't get to see enough of him in that summer internationals. They didn't utilise him properly. It was a real shame for him. Hopefully he can get a bit more room. He's going to have his work cut out on that right wing, but he's a big man, going to be difficult to stop once he gets a bit of speed behind him. And Johnny McNichol, I'd probably say, is one of the more experienced at playing fullback out of who's remaining in the team, with so many people missing out being able to be in the team because of the commitments to club and stuff. So I think this starting 15 is about as good as you can put out given the team restrictions they have, but it'll be interesting to see how they get on. We'll quickly have a quick run through of the subs. Myhill, Carey and Dylan Lewis coming on in that second half. This subs bench for me is where this Wales team could begin to collapse. Certainly not as much strength, I'd probably say, in here. Personally, because of Ken Owens have to go out, that's why Myhill's coming. He's going to be making his Wales debut against New Zealand at the Principality. Doesn't get a lot bigger than that, does it, for a debut? But for me personally, I would have liked to have seen Myhill actually start here ahead of Ryan Elias, because I think Wyn Jones and Tom Francis have a lot more experience to offer. I would have liked to see him be partnered up with the more experienced props, and then Ryan Elias could have come on alongside the other two in order just to bolster the scrum. I think in that second half, that scrum could face a lot of pressure. Will Rowlands, Seb Davis, and so that's all the forwards there. So Will Rowlands, as I said a couple of times, a lot of penalties coming from him. Hopefully we'll be able to keep his tactics down a bit. Seb Davis, the super sub as he is, can play so many different positions. Gareth Davis, I've already sort of mentioned in the replacement scrum half. Reece Priestland is the replacement fly half. Now, for anyone who knows me personally outside of the channel, you'll know I'm not the biggest Priestland fan. I've said in the past that I don't really think he's one of those players that plays international very well. He definitely steps out in club a lot more. I know he's been playing well at Bath. I've seen him in the Ultimate Rugby Championship for the Blues. I saw him play the 2 minutes of one game before getting injured, and I wasn't super impressed by his second game. However, with there being no Sheedy, no Bigger, Jared Evans out with injury, you've got Gareth Anscombe. It's a bit of a shame that Sam Davis didn't make it in, to be honest, but we'll see how Reece Priestland gets in. Certainly got a lot of Wales caps behind him. Hopefully can turn up for it. And finally, Thomas going to be getting in there as well. Not a lot of caps for him. Certainly going to be a pressured game. So, not a bad Wales 23. It's probably about as good as they can do with the players missing. Will they be able to get a win from this? I would say maybe. But I certainly would probably have my money towards New Zealand, even though I am a Wales supporter myself. So speaking of who, we've got a few minutes left of this video, so let's talk about the New Zealand team that's been announced. So New Zealand, of course, have been on a superb run. They're killing Tonga by 100 points. They're killing the USA by 100 points. They're just mowing people down. They won their championship with, was it only one loss to South Africa? I'm trying to even remember back now. They look pretty dominant over Australia anyway. They're certainly on good form. Having managed to call what I can do of the Super Rugby Aotearoa, so many of these lads playing together as well. A lot of experience using each other as well as being in that all black shirt. So let's have a quick run through. Starting off with this front row, Joe Moody, Cody Taylor and Nepululala. Yeah, a lot of experience here. Joe Moody and Cody Taylor will just be looking to dominate. I know how much Cody Taylor loves setting up those mauls and a little breakaway from the maul to get those tries. So I think that mauling situation could come into huge pressure there. Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock, two massive men in that lock department. Again, a couple of penalties occasionally coming from Sam Whitelock, but as a captaincy, captain's in the Crusaders, captain's now in New Zealand. Brodie Retallick is doing superb. You know, I'm a big supporter of him. I think he's playing really good rugby at the minute as well. Ethan Blackadder at 6, Dalton Papali at number 7, and Ardie Sarvea at 8. Ardie Sarvea was one of those people for me that was a little bit overrated occasionally, but recently I've really been seeing what people talk about in Ardie Sarvea. Been really, really good recently. Like to see what he's doing. Dalton Papali was one of the first people I saw when I was watching the Super Rugby Aotearoa that I said, this boy needs more caps in this New Zealand team, just scoring tries left, right and centre. Not a lot of flankers score as many tries as Papali. Looking forward towards the halfback partnership, TJ Piranara and Beauden Barrett. That's just experience galore. TJ Piranara with his ridiculous passes that he somehow gets away no matter the tackle. Beauden Barrett making his century in here. He's slowly trying to look to move up the board as getting closer to being the all-time point scorer over Wales. So hopefully we don't see too many points from Beauden Barrett. And then finally in the backs there, Rico Ioane on the left wing, David Havili in the inside centre, Anton Linnett-Brown, Will Jordan on the right wing, and Geordie Barrett at 15. I don't even know if this is technically the best back five that they could put out for New Zealand, but it would certainly be top for most teams. Geordie Barrett's playing superb rugby at the minute. Will Jordan scoring for fun. I would maybe say, although there's a lot of experience between Havili and Anton Linnett-Brown in that centre channel, that might be one of the areas to target. I would imagine a Johnny Williams will be running up that line. David Havili, though, is a tough man to stop when he gets going. And if there's any injuries, Rico Ioane being able to move to centre at any given point, super useful for them. So, yeah, really looking like it's going to be a tough game. That's probably a really, really good 15 to be putting out, and we haven't even spoken about the subs bench yet. So there might be a couple of names on here that I'm going to butcher, so I apologise to any New Zealand supporters. So, in replacement hooker, Taukaeo. I'm not sure about that one. That name's not ringing any bells to me. Tuuna Koafi. Again, not another name I know. Lomax, I've seen play some good rugby recently. Tupou Vai, what a tough man to stop he is when he gets going. Akira Ioane, who, you know what, there's no reason Akira Ioane couldn't have started this game. He's playing good rugby. I've seen him in the Super Aotearoa as well. He was playing good rugby there. Brad Webber starting on the bench here. So, you know, I would maybe say Brad Webber's probably the third choice scrum half in this New Zealand team, but still playing superb rugby, and he won't want to be messing around too much. Richie Mwanga, again, just being awesome at the Crusaders recently. Saw him just carving lines up. I think in that second half when the Wales subs are on, we could certainly see people like him smashing through. And then finally Severis on that 23 shirt. So I imagine what will happen at some point in this game, I very much doubt Ioane will be coming off for Severis. I imagine the more likely thing is you could even see Severis come on oh, maybe he could come on for Will Jordan. You could even see him come on for Barrett. Jordan moved to the 15. There's a lot of different movement here. The utilisation in that New Zealand team is superb. So, before this game ends, as New Zealand attempt to go for a kick here, we will talk about a score prediction. For me, even as a Wales supporter, even though I will be at the Principality, I'm going to be calling this one at a New Zealand win. And to be honest, I think I'm going to call it as a resounding win. I imagine the first 20-30 minutes will be held together. Moving towards that 40-50 minutes, you'll begin to see the cracks. And from that 60-minute onwards, when you begin to see some of the Wales subs come on versus some of the New Zealand subs, is where I could certainly see the floodgates begin to open. So for me, I'm going to call New Zealand to win by 35, I think, is going to be my call, and I think I might even be underselling them a bit there. It might even be more towards the 40 marker, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Who do you think is going to do well? Who do you think is going to do badly? Who are you supporting? Are you going to be able to attend the game? That's going to be one of the few things that we're going to be looking forward to, is actually getting to watch some live rugby again in the stadiums. We are, of course, running the Fantasy Predictor League, so for anyone who hasn't joined that, you've still got a little bit of time to join up to that league before these games kick off. There is a whole video about how to join the group and how to join in with some of the other subscribers and myself. But I hope you've all enjoyed this video today, guys. Of course, we will be doing these previews for the rest of the rugby games through the Autumn Internationals. So if you've enjoyed, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel just to keep up to date when all the videos come out. But I hope you all enjoyed today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.